What's up, YouTube? This is Katie's Train Station 32 here, and
Swindell Steamworks. So this is Katie's new 3-rail layouts. Just going to do a quick overview, but then I'll actually go through the process of how I built it. So this is a product of 3 days of work. So originally, if you guys recall some of Katie's videos, and I think maybe 1 or 2 of my videos, the O-scale layout was down on the floor in another portion of the basement. It was around a pool table. About a few weeks ago, we got word that we were requested to take the layout up so that we could utilize the pool table again and all that. But we were given clear access to this section of the basement, specifically this space. So I started drafting up a track plan, and track plan as well as like sketches for the bench work, and the final product came out pretty close because I was running off of, I'm just guesstimating how much space I'd have. As I told Katie, I said, before I even start building, I'm going to have to take measurements of the actual space and figure out how much of the space I can use, because some of the conditions were that we have to be able to walk around it. This is going to disappear, and then this area we'll be able to walk through here, but we have to be able to walk around the entire layout. That door has to remain unobstructed. The crawl space has to remain unobstructed. And I had the idea later on to actually put the layout on casters, so then the layout can be shifted around if so need be. So day one, so Sunday, with some help from her brother, we got all the materials, the wood, screws, the plywood, Homosew. We got all the stuff gathered. And then day one, which was Monday, started construction. Now, mind you, Katie had not seen the layout until yesterday, which was her birthday. I kept this a secret. She knew I was going to be building her a layout. She's seen the track plans, but as far as like the actual building process, she didn't see any progress on the layout until it was unveiled. So day one, I started getting all the 2x4s cut. I started off with the legs, which are just 2x4s cut down to 32 inches and screwed together in an L frame, and then I screwed the casters on. There is a total of 12 legs on this layout. The 4 in the center were kind of those came a little later because I didn't realize that I would need center supports. That it was an oversight on my part, but luckily all it took was I had 2 32-inch cutoffs, and then I just needed to get 2 2x4s, cut them to 32 inches, screw them together, put casters on, and done deal. The layout is 7x12, so I had to cut the plywood and Homosew down, just take a foot off each end, so then it's 7 feet. But anyways, going back to the process, day one, so cutting the legs, getting them assembled, got the frames, all the timber for the frames cut and screwed together, got the legs mounted to the frames themselves, so I was able to get the frame off the ground. And towards the end of the day, I had just enough time to get the OSB screwed to the tops of the frames. That was a process. But I got it on, and that's where I called it for day one. Day two, started getting the Homosew sheeting put up on the plywood. I glued it down with carpet glue, obviously, and after a few hours, once it was more or less firmed up, I then went to work getting this green indoor-outdoor carpeting glued on. It's the same thing. It's held in with carpet glue, and let that firm up. And then by the evening time, even though Katie was home, she knew she was not allowed to come in here. I started dry fitting all of the track to see how well the track plan would work, and I'm pleased to say that it worked out pretty well. But I had some sections of track that I needed to fetch. We had half of an 060 loop, and so we needed to get 8 more curves to complete the 060 loop. A few more small pieces of fast track, but nothing major. Just you know, a few filler pieces to get to achieve this track plan. And then once I got all the track in place, I didn't screw it down yet. So next day, day 3, which really was the final day of the build, I started doing all the wiring, which there's a few other details which I'll mention, because a lot has also happened since the actual completion of the layout. But I got everything wired. I use banana plugs because they look more aesthetically pleasing, but they also just are easier to handle than trying to use the tiny holes in the screw posts. I started with the 036 loop, made sure that conventional engines as well as Lion Chief equipped engines would work. It is actually the only loop that is not command equipped, or at least command equipped in the normal sense, like DCS or TMCC or Legacy. Everything worked on that, so then I moved on to the 060 loop, got it wired up, hooked through the TIU, also got a also soldered an extra grounding wire so then I could hook it up to a TMCC or Legacy command base. Tested DCS and tested TMCC DCS on that loop. It worked great. I also tested conventional to make sure conventional would still work. Conventional works just fine. Then I moved on to the 072, same process. Got it all wired up, tested DCS, tested Legacy or TMCC, worked out fine. And once all testing was done, then I started the process of screwing the track down. And there's evidence. It's nice and rigid to the board. And then I started laying out the few accessories that Katie had. So she had these 3 station platforms. This was actually an early birthday present, along with that Dunkin' Donuts tractor trailer. I think that's all the accessories she had prior to the other stuff. And then on her birthday, which was again yesterday at the time this is being filmed, we went out and we started hitting up some hobby shops for some accessories, as well as a new transformer, which I'll touch back on that in a moment here. But we went to multiple places. We went to Sir Troy's, Menards. In fact, we hit up 2 Menards locations. We went to Beltline Hobbies, and we managed to pick up a fair amount of accessories. We also went to Hobby Lobby and Michael's, because they have, you know, some things like trees, figures, stuff that, you know, it's easy to fill the layout with. So like over here, this I think came from Michael's. Most of the trees and some of the ground foliage came from Michael's. I think these came from Hobby Lobby. This is a K-Line accessory that came from Beltline. You know, $50 special. You know, we turned the smoke unit off because I don't like the K-Line. I don't like the smoke units that came in these K-Line cabooses. I mean, some people love them. I personally don't like them because they're not fan driven. It's what I call, you know, the waft method, where you just pray that smoke comes out of here. It would have been a little better if it was like a fan, if they put it in a fan and they just had it tuned so then it rotates slowly but provides just enough air to force the smoke out. Some other trackside accessories. From Beltline, there was a plastic station kit, which included these 3 billboards, 2 right here, there's the other one down there, telephone poles, and the actual station kit itself is actually still on the workbench. I'm still in the process of building it. And it's probably going to go somewhere over here, or I might put it on the inside. Got quite a few figures, most of which I've put on the station platform, and just a few other, you know, pieces. Hey, this is actually an accessory that Katie had that she didn't even know was O-scale.
It was actually on the HO layout.
Yeah, you guys, if you guys recall a lot of her older HO scale videos, you may remember seeing this tunnel. I didn't know it was O scale. I thought it was just some like cheap plastic tunnel that came and that was sold for separate sale. What gave it away is my buddy of mine, Brandon. If any of you guys are heavy on Instagram, and you've heard the Instagram name BR Railroad, and you watch his stories, a lot of times when he posts stories of like engines he's worked on, they're usually coming out of a tunnel that looks like this, but it's painted and marked for Strasbourg. Well, take all the markings off, it's the exact same tunnel, and that's when I realized, wait a minute, Katie has this same tunnel, just it's decorated for Thomas. So she's got a tunnel for the layout. So that was actually another pre-existing accessory that she had.
Explain about that coffee shop.
Yeah, so we so far majority of the buildings are from Menards. I absolutely love their buildings. In fact, we're trying to keep an open mind with, you know, other accessories like from MTH, Lionel, but we really like the Menards buildings. We got 4 of them on the layout. We got Jimbo's Gym, we got the Menards Hobby Shop, and then we got American Materials. I think, yeah, this is plant number 1. And then we got Caboose Coffee. The hobby shop we definitely walked out with because it's just cool to have a model train hobby shop on a model train layout or toy train layout. But the 2 buildings that I felt were imperative for the layout was Caboose Coffee and the gym, because Katie, she likes to work out, polar opposite to me. I hate working out. And she also likes Dunkin' Donuts and Starbucks. Now this obviously is decorated in close to the Starbucks colors and logo, but also too, now that she has the Dunkin' Donuts tractor trailer, so you know, 1, 2, 3, that is Katie in a nutshell on the layout. So in fact, actually, there's four items. So like Katie, she likes Dunkin', sure, she likes Starbucks, she likes Dunkin', she likes to work out, and she likes trains. All 4 pieces. That is Katie in a nutshell on a layout. So as you can see, you know, still looking a little bare, you know, but, you know, as time goes on, you know, the layout's gonna, you know, get filled up with more scenery, more buildings. One thing that we contemplated on adding but decided not to was a trolley line. Now, we could have put a trolley line like sort of where Thomas is, you know, have it on the outer edge of the layout, but I don't like tracks being so close to the edge, because then, you know, one wrong move and it's going to take a nosedive into hard water, aka concrete, and we don't want that. So we just decided to just, you know, not include the trolley line.
No.
There's probably space in the middle, but we're not wanting to obstruct potential space for buildings or other accessories. So we're just and I told Katie, I said it's actually nice when a layout is more than just trains, you know, when you actually can put buildings and accessories, make the layout feel like it's being occupied and lived in. It just feels more realistic. Now granted, this is more of a toy train layout, but I still wanted to incorporate some semblance of realism, so then, you know, it reflects most of real life. So now going back over here to the control panel, I got these 2 transformers here. Whoop. Let's see if I can zoom out. There we go. These 2 transformers are actually hooked up to actual accessories. In fact, actually, this is this accessory and the opposing lamppost down there. Yep, these also came from Beltline. You know, I think $20 or $20 or $35 or something like that. Really good price. This one is handling, I think, the lamppost. This one is handling the Caboose yard office. This one does not have any accessories hooked up to it, but we have an extra post, so, you know, we can. This one I may wind up using if we ever put more accessories, like traditional ones that take wires and not the corded system like Menards. This one is probably going to we're probably going to put a main bus line around the layout, and then just start tagging in feed lines to that. But this was another thing that came from Beltline. So originally, these two CW80s were placed over here. We had a 40-watt PowerMax transformer that was powering the 036 line. Well, during testing, I found that not every engine liked that 40-watt PowerMax. And I'm sure there's going to be some viewers that are going to say, well, duh, it's a 40-watt PowerMax. Well, hey, hold on. You know, sit your butt down, put some duct tape over your mouth. I didn't know. I did not know the absolute limits of the PowerMax. Well, I put her MTH Rail King 611 on. It's a Proto 1 era in it, but it has the Loco sound. When I put track power to it, the engine barely moved and the light was flashing, meaning that it was overdoing itself, but it still couldn't power the locomotive. But then when I put the engine on the 060 loop and used a CW80, that worked. So I was like, okay, if we want to be able to run, if we really want to treat the 036 loop as a conventional loop, we're going to have to upgrade that PowerMax to another CW80. So that was our plan. We were just going to get another CW80 and just swap it out with the PowerMax. But then when we went to Beltline, we found this. This is a Lionel GW180. In fact, the brick itself is right here.
It's brand new.
Brand new. This is brand new production because it has the clear lens. I know Lionel's been doing this to a lot of the newer Transformers. Like, this is relative old production, but still new. This is new production. This is new production. She was a little hesitant to go after this when she asked me, like, why. She's like, why would I want this? So, well, this puts out a lot more power than a CW80. It can withstand doing, like, MTH lash-ups or Legacy or TMCC lash-ups. It can handle the big engines far better. So it's a more powerful transformer.
Mm-hmm.
So she got it, and I put this to the 072 loop, and I just shifted these over. And as you can see by the labels I put on here, just to help her, this is 036 now, this is 060.
I'll explain about the WTIU. Yeah,
so Katie also recently invested in a WTIU, and we have the apps. I have the full version of the app on my phone now, and it's actually pretty nice. I've been a die-hard user of the older RF radio frequency remotes, and I think I found a way to actually make these remotes work with the WTIU. There's a guy on Facebook that actually showed how he made something to be able to use those old remotes with this, but I'm going to wait and see if anyone else does it and if there's any problems that come with it. But it looks promising nonetheless.
So, can I explain about that?
Go ahead.
So, when I went to Florida in January, my mom and we went to this place called Calusa's Trains and Hobbies in Florida. This is where I got the WTIU, and the owner, Vincent's Trains, gave me these.
Yeah, it's a great crossing kit. It's 3D printed. It's made to go on Fast Track. I may wind up painting that, but for now we just stuck it on the layout.
And here's the shirt.
And by the way, we are not sponsored by Calusa's Trains. Please shop there, but we are not sponsored by them.
The owners were very nice to me, and
yeah. So, and then of course they got her TMCC system hooked up. So now she can run TMCC. She can run Legacy. She could run DCS. So both the 072 and the 060, they are wired to do either TMCC, Legacy, or DCS. The 072 is hooked up to fixed channel 1. The 060 is hooked up to fixed channel 2. The variables I'm not using. I know they can be used. I can actually turn those into fixed channel outputs, but I'm not using them at this time. I know I could probably converted variable 1 to another fixed output and hook that into the 036 loop, but because this has tight radius curves, like, nah, we're just gonna keep it conventional for now in Lion Chief. So in order, this is the compatibility for all three loops. So the 072 and 060, I'll combine these together since they're mock of each other. TMCC or Legacy, DCS, Lion Chief, and conventional. 036, Lion Chief, conventional. Those are your options. So another point of interest is I did make up a siding to where you could put another train in there. I do plan on eventually, if we could find one, she does want to have like a small little like freight depot right there, so then she could, if she only has one train out but she wants to do some switching, like spot a box car or something, or spot a flat car, she could back the car up, uncouple it, and then pull the rest of the train away. But for now, we have two trains. We have an NS, an all Norfolk Southern train in the siding, and then we have a CSX-A with Florida-esque cars. I'd say I put in the NS Triple Crown as a filler car.
I got that at the train show.
Yep. She's middle loop. She has her Mohawk number 3001. It's a Rail King pulling a passenger train. This was a train show find for her. These 5 Williams cars.
And those 2 NS cars over there too.
Yeah, those are Aristocraft NS OCS cars. She's gonna try and see if she could find the others, because those are pretty cool cars, and those would look great behind 611. Outside loop. This is actually one of my trains. This is in fact, this is all relatively new for me. Got this 2002 Dreyfuss Hudson. It's going to actually be getting some upgrades. It's going to be getting a Gunrunner John Chef generator, so I can have 4 trucks per revolution. I am going to rip the original mechanical smoke unit out and make room for a fan-driven smoke unit, but that's going to be later on because I have to figure out how I'm going to wire that all in and make it work. But also from the same train show that Katie got her Madison cars, I found a brand new mint condition 5-car Weaver set. It's of course it's the 1938 20th Century Limited. Colors are slightly different from the Lionel Dreyfuss Hudson. Eventually I would like to get the Lionel cars, but for now, I have a set of cars I can run with my Dreyfuss. Looks good. Alright, so this is just a quick update, on the new layout. And I'm really happy with how the layout turned out, because I've helped many friends rebuild or revamp existing layouts. We would basically do everything, or if it was required, we would do anything and everything except touch the bench work. This was the first time I actually built a layout from the ground up using my own designs and doing it myself. But before we go, we're also going to touch on storage. So right now, it looks like it's all full, but the freight train she had on the 072 loop, I took that off so that I could throw on my Dreyfuss Hudson. But once the Dreyfuss Hudson comes off, then we're probably going to put something else back on. Probably, modern freight train with any one of these engines. But this is nothing but special. Well, right now I just got these 2 cars here because why not? But this is mostly the caboose track. Freight cars, more freight cars. From this Rail King diecast tank car over to the left is all MTH club cars or MTH marked cars. Over here, that Tropicana, these box cars, these are just overflow. But this is the shelf I'm wanting to treat as locomotives and passenger cars only. So the steam locomotive shelf is pretty well filled. Probably the bottom shelf is probably going to be the next shelf in line to receive locomotives. Second shelf is nothing but diesels. And as you can see, she's got a whole lot of Gevos. 3 Premiers, 1 Rail King, 1 -840CW, an SD70 Jeep 38, and a conventional RS3. This is where all the passenger cars will go. Yeah. Display, but also, for storage, because, most of the cars for now can and will live on the layout, but, as she swaps cars, she can just swap cars and put them, on the shelves. One final touch I did was I just add a little bit of fun was, that is her YouTube.
No, that's my Instagram.
Oh, that is your Instagram. But yeah, that's her Instagram.
Yay Trains.
Yeah, I gotta find an S, but yeah, Yay Trains.
No, you use a Z.
That's actually a good idea. I didn't think about that.
It's like my license plate.
Yep. As you saw, I put labels on the transformers. These are peel and stick, so these could easily come off, and they're not going to leave any residue. But this is just so then she's not questioning, like, oh crap, which transformer went to what? So 036, 060, 072, and this was just extra. New York Central, Norfolk and Western, Pennsylvania. Sorry. To all the manufacturers, I don't care who you are, Broadway Limited, Bachman, Lionel, MCH, Atlas O, Tyco, if y'all had still existed to this day, stop producing Pennsylvania stuff. We don't need Pennsylvania stuff. We don't need Uni-Pacific stuff either. Holy crap. But so yeah, this is a layout update. Once again, looks great. Very pleased with this layout. We've already had a lot of fun with it already, and it's only going to get better because as you know, Katie gets more buildings, more accessories, you know, they'll go on the layout. So stay tuned. We're actually going to do some running videos here in the next few days, and we'll try and document them as best we can. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Comment below. Let me know what you think of the layout. You know, do you think it's actually, you know, a work of art, or do you think it's worthy of a bonfire? You know, let us know. Anyways, I'm Swindell Steamworks.
Katie's Train Station 32.
Catch you guys later.